Welcome to the Yes and podcast, a space where we embrace life with courage, purpose, and possibility. Hi, I'm Claire Darr. I'm a former corporate lawyer turned executive coach. I'm a wife, a mom, and a believer in living boldly. Here, we're going to dive into saying yes to what truly matters: family, faith, career, and creating a legacy of joy and fulfillment. Together, we'll explore what happens when we step beyond the limits, ask for more, and say yes and to the extraordinary. It's time to live a life you can't wait to wake up for. Let's get started.
Today, I'm keeping it simple and short. You have a say. You have a say. Try that one on for size. In your life, in your personal life, your professional life, your business, your career, with your family, with your health, with every single aspect of your life and what touches your life, you have a say. You have a say in what you do now, what you do next, what you do tomorrow. You have a say in the decisions you make, in the actions you take, in the people you're around, in how you show up, in the energy you bring, in the words that come out of your mouth. You have a say. And I heard that for the first time about a month ago, and it really resonated with me. I mean, so much so I wrote it down. Clay, you have a say. I get to have a say. I do have a say. This is my life. I get to make the decisions for me in my life because last time I checked, I am a grown up. So many of us, I think, and I'm saying this because hand on heart, if I reflect back, I'm sure this is how I've lived. So many of us we're taught as children, that we didn't have a whole lot of control over our lives. And we went from being children in our parents' homes to having a little bit of freedom and then kind of told to rein it in a bit, to be sensible, to be cautious, to study, to get a good job, to be realistic, to pay the bills, to settle down, to, all the things. At so many points in our lives, we've been told to do certain things that I think we kind of got it knocked out of us a bit, that we actually have a say. We all know we have freedoms. I hope everyone listening to this lives in a place that is that has freedoms that we tend to take for granted. But do we actually use this freedom to our advantage? Do we let it serve us? Do we go about our life knowing that we have a say? I think sometimes we do, and sometimes we forget. And I think it's easy to fall into a default of being in a life where other people have a say. I think any one of us could point to situations right now, and probably in the not too distant past, where other people were having a say and got to have the last word and got to have the ultimate say in when we showed up, what we did, who we were, what we brought. And for me, and for a lot of my clients, I work with so many incredibly smart, ambitious, high achieving, high earning, amazing impact on this world people. And so many of them are people pleasers. A lot of them know they are. A lot of them don't like it. A lot of them kind of laugh it off. A lot of them actually use it as a badge of honor. People pleasing has become the norm for a lot of people. Accepting that we don't get to decide, that we have to just kind of put up and shut up to be polite or to be accepted or to be liked, has become the norm for a lot of people. I know it was for me, and I've always honestly been pretty outspoken, pretty confident, pretty I got this compliment paid to me years ago at work by a coworker, a male coworker, and he said, "You're really comfortable in your own skin." And I took it as a huge compliment. And I was like, "Well, yeah, of course I am. I mean, who else's skin am I going to be comfortable in, right? Of course I am. It's not like I have to be. Like, to me, there was no alternative that I wouldn't be, right? Um, and I know a lot of people don't feel that way and do a lot of great work to get there. And even me, being comfortable in my own skin, showing up confident in rooms of men, in difficult, stressful situations, I moved to America on my own with a couple of suitcases when I was in my early 20s, without a job or really anywhere to live. And I was able to do all of that. And at the same time, I was a people pleaser. I wanted people to like me. I said yes to situations and things when I really wanted to say no. I agreed to do things when I didn't really want to and when I knew it wasn't going to serve me. And the privilege of getting older is you learn that, and you learn that you don't need the approval of other people. You don't need to sacrifice your happiness and your fulfillment and what you want in life for other people. And I think a lot of us, as we get older and we have more wisdom and more years on the planet, we know that, but do we fully embrace it and embody it and live our lives that way? And the caveat, I'm not talking about to heck with it all, I don't care about people, I'm gonna just live my life without a care in the world and kind of trample on people and not care about other people. It's actually the opposite. I really don't feel that way. I care about people. I have huge respect for people. I want to see other people thrive and succeed and be happy. And at the same time, I don't want to do it to the sacrifice of my health and happiness and fulfillment or that of my family's. And I get to choose. I get to have a say. I get to have a say. And so I've started using this phrase in many, many aspects of my life, my business, my day, as I get up in the morning, as I take my kids to school, as I interact with people in the world at the grocery store, as I talk to clients, I'm just out and about living my life and then come back home with my family. I've really started to embrace and embody this. I get to have a say. I get to have a say in how I show up. I get to have a say in what I say next, in what I do next, in what I say yes to, and what I say no to, in what I decide is good for me and my family. I get to have a say. And that is so empowering. And when we do it from a place of aligned purpose and passion, and we do it from a good place and a good energetic stance, only good can come from that. It's not selfish. It's not to heck with everyone else. I'm just going to take care of me and mine, and I don't care about the rest of the world. It's not that. It is the opposite. I care about the collective. I care about us all doing our best for our neighbor and each other. I care about seeing other people thrive and succeed. And it starts with me. When I know that I get to have a say, then it frees me up to be so much more, to give so much more, to have more clarity and purpose and freedom of choice and, the bottom line, energy, good energy, aligned energy, purposeful energy. I feel good. I feel like I'm me. I feel like I'm out in the world doing what I'm supposed to do. And I got to have a say. So I want to leave you with a few statements that I've journaled on And I'm going to continue journaling on it. And I encourage you, if you can't stop and journal and write it down, come back. We're at minute 9:15, and journal on this, or just think it through, and come from a place of, I get to have a say. You get to have a say. And it all starts with the word decide. Decide what you want. Decide that you will let it be easy. Imagine that. Decide that you will let it be easy. Decide that you won't believe the negative stories anymore. Where do those negative stories come from? They come mainly from you and your head. They really do. But they can come from external. But most of these negative stories, limiting beliefs, whatever you want to call them, come from within our own brains. Decide to be successful. Decide to be happy. Decide to be wealthy. Decide to be healthy. Decide. You get to decide this. Decide that the world is working with you and for you, not against you. Decide. And imagine if you went about your every day with that knowledge, with that power, with that purpose, with that alignment, knowing that you're supported, knowing that you can trust yourself, you can trust your inner guidance, you can trust the decisions you make, you can trust that you get to have a say, and that when you do, it's not just you who benefits, everyone around you benefits. A quick little story about this. Yesterday was on my calendar, and if I told you out loud what I did yesterday, it would have been a super stressful day. It could have turned out to be one of those days you end up at home wanting to open a bottle of wine, just to end the day and be done with it and move on to tomorrow. My day started at 5 a.m. and was literally nonstop. There wasn't a minute that I didn't have something or someone that I was doing something for or with. And it also required that I made 3, I believe, maybe 4. My husband said 4 separate trips to and from my kids' school. Yeah. And could I have changed that situation? I'm sure I could have. Did I want to? No, because I decided that it was important for me to be the one dropping off and picking up my kids yesterday. And because of what they were doing, it required me to go back and forth a few times. And I, for a split second, really noticed myself get into an energetic space of, oh, woe is me. Oh, it's my burden. Oh, why am I the only one who can do this? Oh, I'm going to be in the car back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh, there's so much more I could get done during that period of time. And then I remembered, no, Claire, you have a say. In fact, it didn't have to be that way. My husband could have picked up or dropped off. He was available to do that, but I had committed to doing it. So from that place, it was something I was going to be doing. I decided I had a say, and I would decide how I would show up. I would decide what kind of person I would be driving to and from, to and from, to and from. I would decide how I would use that time, and I would decide how I would be as a mom, as a person, interacting with my children, interacting with others during that period of time. I decided. I didn't just let it happen at me, to me. And I'll tell you, I did not come home last night needing to open a bottle of wine. I had a lot of water, actually, because it had been such a busy day, and I had a healthy dinner. And we had a great evening as a family, fun evening. And I really chalk a lot of that up to my energy and how I showed up and that I had made a decision to be different than what sometimes is the default, which is stressed or overworked or overburdened or overwhelmed, all the overwords. And so a couple of little things I did. I was excited about a podcast I wanted to listen to. I've been dying to listen to. So I had that teed up ready to go when I got in the car. And honestly, I wanted a little bit more drive time because I didn't get to finish the podcast before my kid got in the car. On the way there, I in the morning, which was not my usual routine, we played DJ. We played tons of really fun, upbeat songs. Everyone got to play a song, and we played some songs from the 90s that my kids think are cringe, but I thought I remembered the club back in the day. We made it fun. And then I decided to be fun mom. I had a 2-hour window between picking one kid up and then having to go back and pick the other one up. And just tried to think, do we rush home? Do I run errands? Do I do this? Do I do that? Do I do the other? And I decided, no, in that 2-hour window, what if I was intentional? I decide how I show up. I decide who I want to be. I decide that I won't believe the negative stories about not having enough time or not having too much to do or it being a waste of time. And I decided to have a little mini date with one of my girls. And when I picked her up, it was a surprise. I picked her up early and I told her, you get to decide. We could do this. And I picked something really, really fun and out of the ordinary. I actually picked going to like a fun video arcade where I knew they had ice cream and all kinds of stuff. And then the other thing I picked was going to a little ice cream parlor that had ice creams and fries and burgers and what have you. And she actually chose, would you believe? She said no to the arcade because she had a little bit of homework to do. So she said, could we just go get the ice cream, get the French fries, sit in the car, and can I get my homework done, please? And she's 8, by the way. And I said, is that what you really want to do? And she said, yeah, I really do. And I think that'll be fun. And I said, okay then. So we did it. And we went to the ice cream parlor. She got the best looking ice cream ever. I got a Diet Coke. She got some crinkle fries. I stole a couple. And we sat. I played music. And she did her homework. And then we chatted. And we planned some things coming up in the next few days. And then we went back and picked up her sister. Do you know how good that felt? That I decided instead of having that time at me, against me, wasted, it feeling like a burden, that I decided to make it fun. I decided that she could choose. I was baffled by what she chose, but it was her choice and she was happy with it. And we actually created some great memories there and she got her homework done. And I wanted to tell you about that. It seems simple, right? It seems like nothing. It's not nothing. It is something. It was something to her. It was something to me. And it was a moment that probably would not have happened had I not run through this thought process earlier in the day. Claire, you get to have a say and you get to decide. You decide who you show up as, you decide how you show up, you decide to be happy, you decide to be healthy, you decide you will let it be easy, you decide you will let it be fun. And it was. Imagine that. Imagine that. So, journal on these prompts. Decide that you'll let it be easy. What would that look like? Decide you won't believe the negative stories. What would that look like? Decide what you want. Decide who you want to be. Decide you want to show up healthy, wealthy, happy, joyful. Decide you will let it be easy. Decide that the world is working with you and for you. And please share what comes up for you as you do this. Share your stories. I would love, love, love to hear your stories. And I hope this helps you today and have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you for joining me on the Yes and podcast. If this episode inspired you to say yes to more in your life, I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who needs to hear this message. Remember, life is meant to be lived fully, one courageous yes at a time. Until next time, I'm Claire Darr, cheering you on as you create a life of peace, purpose, and boundless possibilities. Keep dreaming big and don't forget to say yes and.